Hello, hello, hello. Larsen Halleck here with another video on the state of the popular music industry. Anyway, this topic is so nice that I'm doing it twice. And boy, do I have a treat for you people. But before we get to that, let's discuss the book that I mentioned in the first video, The Song Machine by John Seabrook. It's a hell of a read, I recommend it. While you can get the basic gist of the book's thesis from reading an article reviewing it, or, listening to the radio for 5 minutes, it's still worth getting the down and dirty, nitty-gritty details of just how mechanized the music industry has become, and just how perfectly they've gotten addictive, disposable pop fluff down to a science. Plus, seeing how interconnected all these music industry figures are, reinforcing how connections are often more important than talent, and how badly Lou Pearlman was stiffing the Backstreet Boys. Stiffing them strictly financially, not sexually, although I wouldn't put it past this guy. So anyway, the book goes into greater detail about the rhythm and hook method of songwriting, and how the songwriting sessions are really expected to have a radio-ready song completed in the span of 5 or 6 hours. So you know what? I'm gonna play your game. I decided to write my own crappy pop song. Everything. The lyrics, the instrumentation, the rhythms, the hooks, the melodies. And I played all the instruments too. I did everything except sing because my singing sounds like a sperm whale orgasming. The lovely Vita Bathory did the singing instead. I timed how long it took to write this, and I was on par with the professionals. If anything, I took slightly less time. So without further ado, here is Getting Back Up by Larsen Halleck and Vita Bathory, played with a drum machine, a keyboard, and sung in mezzo-soprano.
Don't your man spread, don't cack on me. I have my own agency. I'm a strong woman. Ooh, 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 ooh. Y chromosomes make stupid hormones. Swing it, ball sack, evolution you lack.
Now I ask you, was it really that different than the crap you would hear on the radio? I mean, obviously my recording software and hardware are not as good. I know for a fact that I'm just using bare bones microphones and audio recording software, but judging it on its musical and lyrical complexity, or lack thereof, I defy you to say that it's that much worse than your average top 40 stuff. You know, in my last video, some commenters objected to the concept that music was getting worse, and some people I know in real life felt the same way. In fact, the real life people who objected all made one very specific argument, and it's an argument that I see the other chattering people make, such as in this particular article from Cracked.com, and it's always the same argument they make. Whenever you bring up the modern crappiness of top 40 music, it never changes, and it goes a little something like this. Yeah, but what about sugar, sugar? I am so sick of this argument, so I'm going to address this in its entirety right now. You people are actually driving me to defend the Archies. I hope you're satisfied. Okay, yeah, Sugar Sugar and the entirety of the Archies output is the disposable bubblegum pop of its time period. I'm certainly not denying that. However, I would like to point out that the actual people behind this, namely Ron Dante and Tony Wine, are actual musicians with actual talent. Tony Wine, who did the female vocals in particular. I mean, for Christ's sake, she's a Juilliard graduate. Incidentally, she got stiffed really hard on royalties, but I digress. But one piece of evidence in particular will prove my point, which is to say that the disposable crap of yesteryear is better than the disposable crap of today. Let's look at the sheet music. Here's the sheet music for Sugar Sugar, and here is the sheet music for Girls by Beyonce. I must ask, which one looks more musically complex? Which one seems to require more skill to play satisfactorily? Neither of these is exactly a virtuoso masterpiece, but yeah, I'm gonna say it. Sugar Sugar is a Mozart concerto in comparison. Honestly, I don't think any of the top 40 stuff nowadays is comparable. I mean, would your average top 40 artist now even be capable of writing a simple song like this? I think it would be about as likely as convincing Archie comics to end with a three-way. So, modern apologists, find another manufactured pop group to use as a negative comparison, because it ain't the Archies.
Without the
No, Larson, please don't do that. So, have my opinions changed about the industry? Not really. Except for perhaps a greater but still begrudging respect for the workhorsery of the songwriting hired guns. I respect that output. I, of course, would still prefer the real quality musicians to get famous and get the money they deserve, but all we can do as ever is patronize the good people, advocate voting with your wallet, and not give money to the bad people. And as usual, I'm a candle flickering in the darkness. I'm Larsen Halleck. Nurture your creative spark, and I'll gladly spend the next year not talking about bubblegum pop music.
Sugar do 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 do. Oh, honey, honey do 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 do. You are my You lousy piece of junk!